Hey Angela, that's live. Okay, that means not talk. Hello, I'm Angela Parada, and we will be, this is a test, but we will be airing live at 11 o'clock, swearing in here at the Lawrence County Courthouse in Newcastle. Public service of NCTV45 and NCTV45 NEWSWATCH. Please bear with us as we test because we have TV set outside so that the overflow from courtroom 1 can be picked up there. I'll be back momentarily. Thank you, as we've been able to ascertain that the overflow is working in our seating area outside in Lawrence County courthouse area, the rotunda, or whatever you'd call it. And also working inside. Now, we will be set, and it's approximately 9:30. We will be broadcasting at 11. I will make sure that the Facebook page and what have you is updated. We want to leave it on as to keep the feed straight out in the area for the overflow. So we will be shutting our mic. I will come back from time to time just to give you updates. And thank you. Make sure you tell others. And we will be sharing live at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, originally he was going to go on this side, but see, I have this for you. Okay. Then you're here.
Welcome back, and just to give you an update, swearing in will begin from courtroom 1. This is the Lawrence County Government Center, the courthouse. Swearing in will be at 11 a.m. in courtroom 1. Honorees, Judge Cox, uh, Court of Common Pleas, Loretta Spilvogel, Melissa Modi, Magisterial District Justice, Jody Claiborne, Prothonotarial Courts, Rick Russo, Magisterial District Judge, Richard Rapone, Treasurer, Dawn Vogler, Commissioner, Dave Gettings, Controller, Morgan Boyd, Commissioner, and Richard R. J. Johnson, Coroner. They'll call to order and have an introduction. And Susan Langford, courtroom assistant, and President Judge Dominic Motto. Now, we will keep you abreast of what's going on here and come in from time to time. We're roughly an hour away. Keep watching NCTV45. Well, we have dignitaries and what have you coming into courtroom one, and we're doing the seating now. It's 10:25. We will be going live here probably in the next 20 to 30 minutes, and the whole swearing-in ceremony you'll be able to watch live, beginning to end, right here on NCTV45. Hang in there. We're going to leave our cameras up and running for those sitting beyond the courtroom. Rick Russo, and Richard Rapone, Dave Gettings, Morgan Boyd, Loretta Spielvogel, quite a few. Now, we'll be right back, and please tell a friend, and have a friend tell a friend about NCTV 45. Now, folks filling in, and we're very, it's a very close situation in courtroom one. As swearing in will happen right in front of you. If you're looking at the left corner of our picture, there's the podium and the body. Okay. Now, behind you see Josh Lamacusa, and walking across now is Clark Studio. There's Dan Vogler, County Commissioner, as I look back over my left shoulder to check out where everybody is lined up. Okay, they're working their way in, and everything on as few folks making their way through. And it is a very close situation. We're about to begin in 10 minutes. Cameras in the courtroom. I wish we could show you. It's a capacity crowd. The overflow set up outside. When the swearing in begins, I will clear the screen of myself. Oath of office today, Jody Claiborne, Judge Craig Fox, Richard R.J. Johnson, Dave Gettings, Richard Rapone, Loretta Spillover, Morgan Lloyd, Dan Bowler, Lee Russo, and Melissa Murray. Remarks, honoree, Dominic Motto, Judge Cox, Judge Hodge, and Judge Dave Hacker. Adjournment, Susan Lang, Court Assistant. My son's sitting next to me. He's going to pan out to the audience to show them. Very, see Loretta Spillover and Richard Rapone. Very close quarters here in courtroom one. And we'll keep it right here as we're set to begin in 7 minutes. I know.
She may have been in a different one. You were so busy.
We're 5 minutes away. I'm going to leave everything up and running, and we'll be going from here.
That's how we got these things. I'm for it. That's how we got to see it. I'm for it.
They sure should.
Please rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable President Judge Dominic Motto presiding, with the Honorable John W. Hodge, the Honorable David H. Acker, and the Honorable Senior Judge Thomas M. Pickup. You may be seated.
I want to welcome everybody to the swearing-in ceremony for those officials who have been elected, re-elected, or retained in the 2019 general election. This is a full house. It's been a long time since I can recall seeing this many people at a swearing-in ceremony. And I think that is indicative of the fact that there's a lot of excitement about where we are going in county government. So it's great to see everybody here. This is ceremonial, so ordinarily you're not permitted to take pictures in the courtroom or video, but today's an exception because this is ceremonial. You're free to take any of the pictures or videos that you would like to. We have a number of dignitaries that are here today that I'd like to recognize. They're all sitting here in the jury box. The Magisterial District Judge Jerry Cartwright, Senior District Judge David Rischel, Senior District Judge Scott McGrath, District Judge Jennifer Nicholson, our District Attorney Joshua Lamikusa, our Sheriff Harry Calero, our Newton Council Mayor Chris Fry, Mary Ann Gavril, City Council Person, Tom Smith, City Council Person, Russell Noga, our retired coroner, and Robert Delshner, our retired county commissioner. I don't think I've missed anybody. The procedure that we are going to follow. So, I think they need your mic up. This is a new sound system, so yeah. Okay, is this better? Well, I can hear it now. I assume nobody wants me to go over that. I also want to recognize Judge Thomas McCone. He's a senior judge at this point in time, and he holds somewhat of a record in the sense that he is the first senior judge from Lawrence County to actually sit and hear cases during the time he took senior status. We have had other judges retire and have senior status, but none of them ever came back and sat. He has. And to his credit, he has supervised our mortgage foreclosure program. And because of his efforts, there are many people here in Lawrence County who have been able to keep their homes and avoid foreclosure because of that program that he has supervised. So we want to recognize and commend him for that. The procedure we're going to follow is that we will call people up one at a time to be sworn in. In general, most of the individuals will be sworn in by our proprietary clerk of courts, Jody Asaldo. But in order for her to be authorized to perform that duty, I have to swear her in. So we're going to begin with our proprietary and clerk of courts, Jody Asaldo. But I do have a couple of things I'd like to say about her. She became, actually this is the third time that I will be swearing her in, even though this is the first time that she's been elected. Helen Morgan, who was proprietary and clerk of courts for many, many years, I believe she was elected at 8 terms, if I am correct, and served long before that in that office. She retired, so Jody had some pretty big shoes to fill. But she did that seamlessly, which was no surprise because she has worked in the proprietor's office, she told me this morning, for 37 years. She began when she was 17 years old, and I don't want anybody here to start adding up the age. Everybody's laughing, so I'm sure that was the first thing that occurred. But she took over seamlessly. I can tell you that that job has become very complicated with all the new requirements that have been imposed by the Administrative Office of Pennsylvania Courts. You have to be on top of all the changes in law and procedure that affect the running of that office. And I know I speak for all of us judges that she does this very, very well. So we are very proud to have her continue as our proprietary and clerk of court. So Jody, if you'll come forward, I'll come down and swear you in. And place your left hand on the Bible and after me. I, Jody Clay Bonisalvo,
I, Jody Clayton Isaldo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
It's not too bad going first. Thank you, Judge Motto, Judge Cox, Judge Hodge, Judge Acker, and Judge McKenna for making my job pleasurable and enjoyable. To the elected officials, thank you for reaching for your goals and achieving them all. Thank you to my husband, Mike, for standing by my side, even without dinner many, many nights because I'm due to working. To my biggest achievements in my life, my children, Mia and Michael. Mia is here with me from break from Penn State. Michael's working at Penn State and couldn't get off. To my family members, friends, childhood friends, and friends I made on the election path, thank you for being by my side through thick and thin, through good times and in bad times. To the courthouse family, thank you for always putting a smile on my face every day. To my office staff, past and present, thank you for your diligent work and for making me look good every single day. But last but not least, to the voters of Lawrence County, I am blessed, humbled with your trust in voting me as your Lawrence County Proprietary Clerk of Courts and Orphans Court. I promise to run my office with grace, integrity, and kindness, and at the least cost to the taxpayers. Hint, hint, commissioners. With that said, let's do my job and swear in the rest of the elected officials. Thank you.
Incidentally, before court started this morning, she told me all she was going to do was say thank you. Judge J. Craig Cox was elected to the bench in 1999. He was retained for the first time in 2009, and again in 2019, receiving a whopping 83% of the vote, one of the highest percentages in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And that is no surprise because he is one of the hardest working people I know. It's rare that no matter what time I leave here at night, his car is generally still here. He comes in on weekends. He rarely takes a vacation. When any of us judges need some help, he never says no, and oftentimes doesn't even need to be asked. And he's won the respect and admiration of judges throughout the Commonwealth. And he's from my neighborhood, Croton. So with that, I'm going to ask my good friend Judge Cox to come forward and be sworn.
I, J. Craig Cox,
I, J. Craig Cox,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties
that I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
get older, it takes a while to learn.
The next individual who will be sworn in is Mr. Richard Johnson. He's new to the office of county coroner. However, he is certainly experienced for this position as he worked closely with Coroner Nogan in the past. So he's very qualified to be our county coroner. So I would ask him to come forward now and be sworn.
I, Richard R.J. Johnson,
I, Richard R.J. Johnson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this
and
Commonwealth,
I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
David Gettings has been elected to his fourth term as our county controller. Mr. Gettings and I went to high school together. We both worked as windowmen at the Red Barn Restaurant on Wilmington Road, if anybody remembers that. We both owned C3 model Corvettes in our youth, although I still have mine. Our practices developed at about the same time, myself as an attorney and he as a very well-respected CPA. When he first told me he was going to run, I was so excited I said something I probably shouldn't have said. I said, if he gets elected, I'll do backflips around a permanent courthouse. I'm still in training for that day, which means you can't leave until I accomplish that feat. But I can say this about Controller Gettings. There's not a penny of public money that's spent unless he, under his watchful eye, approves it. And the people of Lawrence County can be very grateful that he's our county watchdog of county funds. So, Controller Gettings, will you come forward? Please be sworn in.
Good morning. It is my honor and pleasure to administer the oath of office to my longtime friend, David Gettings. I want you to note that I'm not saying my old friend, because I was right there with him in an age category. And as Judge Motto indicated, we sort of, as our practices developed throughout our early careers, we became very good friends. And we had a lot of interaction in that day, and it's always interesting to have those interactions these days. And just for those who are wondering why I'm not leaving the bench to administer the oath, last fall I had foot and ankle surgery, and my mobility is sort of limited in tight spots here. So that's why we're making this accommodation here at this point. So David, if you would repeat after me, and we'll note that David's wife Julie is holding the Bible for us. I, David C. Gettings.
I, David C. Gettings.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support, obey, and defend.
That I will support, obey, and defend.
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and that I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office of County Controller
of my office of County Controller
of Lawrence County with fidelity.
of Lawrence County with fidelity.
Congratulations, David and Julie.
I just wanted to say a few things. I'm having a little bit of a voice issue, so if you can't hear me, that may be better. First of all, there's a lot of symbolism in me being here. Number one, I'm here because my son, yesterday, we celebrated the 14th anniversary of his death in Iraq. And that made me decide to come to politics. The issue here is, and I want to ask for your help in something, because as losing a child, we also have another gentleman, Judge Hodge, who lost his child. I would ask you to give him the same honor and respect that you gave our family. This community is phenomenal. And I became your controller to try to make a difference. And there's also some additional symbolism here. I have the woman who I've been with for over 50 years, married 47. This is a woman who knows who I really am and still stays with me. That's an amazing woman. She represents the love in my life, and my daughter, who's unable to be here, represents that other. But as you notice, I travel with my own Marine, and I travel with the National Guard. Because if you look to my left, you see Sergeant Zachary Nolson, who is the recruiter for the United States Marine Corps. He represents the military, the active military in this community. And you look to our own Jesse Putnam, Master Sergeant Jesse Putnam, who represents our citizen soldier. I ask all of us here today to take the same seriousness with our oath as these two gave when they gave their oath to our country. And I would be remiss to not recognize the judiciary, all the elected officials, and the wonderful people and the citizens and say thank you, and God bless America.
Our county treasurer, Richard Rapone, has been elected his fourth term in office. And I can say this, when he first became treasurer at a very difficult time, an unfortunate time in our history, when the integrity of that office was in shambles. And so he had to rebuild it, and he's done it tremendously. He has restored confidence and integrity to the office of Treasurer of Lawrence County, and that wasn't an easy thing to accomplish, and we're all grateful to him for having done that. And obviously, he's been elected term after term. He's been unopposed. I can tell you that the citizens of Lawrence County can rest comfortably knowing that the public treasury is being safely guarded in his hands. Mr. Rapone, would you come forward?
I, Richard L. Rapone,
I, Richard L. Rapone,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. It's such an honor to be here with you all. And surrounding me it's very important to share this moment with those who are responsible for allowing me to be here to speak in front of you today. You know, anybody that runs a campaign knows that no man or woman is an island. It takes an incredible team to elect somebody to office, and this is just a snapshot of the incredible people that have been in my life for the past, now starting my 4th term and helping me to be your Lawrence County Treasurer. So I want to start off by thanking the voters of Lawrence County for their faith in me. It just touches my heart so much that they have the confidence in me. I love my work. I love working here. I still get the chills every time I drive up and walk into the courthouse. And it's been, I thank God for the opportunity to use my talents to come to work here every day. I've been inspired by so many people in my life, and 2 of them, one stands behind me, my father, Nick, who always taught me from a very young age, Richard, there is no such word as can't. You can do anything you set your mind to do, and Dad, I stand here today saying thank you for that. And one person who isn't with me here today is my mom, and I know she's watching from above, and she was my biggest cheerleader, and I know I have a very dear and special angel in heaven, and I love you, Mom, and I feel you here with me. I do. My staff, I have such an incredible staff. I mean, they are the wind beneath my wings, and I just want to recognize Jolie DeLillo, who is now my retired first deputy, and she came in with me from the very beginning, and you know, we had quite the feat ahead of us, but with her by my side, she was so responsible for helping me to restore the integrity and the honesty and the trust back to the Treasurer's office. So love you, Jude. Thank you for all your help. She has passed that baton on to my new first deputy, Melissa Chalala, who is an incredible talent in the Treasurer's office, along with my new second deputy, Angela Belisco. And so we're really excited about continuing to work on behalf of the county. Ted Sad, who is such a dear and incredible, talented attorney. Ted has been with me from the very beginning. I am so blessed to have this man to go to for advice, and he'll tell me any given day, you know, I'll put on my attorney's hat, my friend hat, my political hat, so he helps me in many, many areas. Love you, Ted. Thank you. Blessing to have you. And the rest of my staff is Charlene and Jackie, who is new to the office, and they are literally the wind beneath my wings in the Treasurer's office. So I'm grateful and blessed for all of them. I do want to close. Also, somebody who really inspired me my whole life too was Mr. Rogers, Mr. Fred Rogers. You know, love the man. You know, such a simple but profound person who really got what was right in life. You know, be kind, be kind, and be kind. And something that Mr. Rogers did when he was in a group is he would ask those listening to him to take a half a minute in silence to think about somebody who has helped you become who you are. I think today is a perfect day for all of us to do this as well. So if I could just ask you all just to take a few seconds and close your eyes and just focus on those who have been responsible in helping you achieve everything that you have achieved in your life. And I will end with that. Thank you so much. You know, God bless our county. God bless the United States. And it's an honor and it's a privilege to continue to serve as your Lawrence County Treasurer. Thank you.
Over the Christmas holiday, I had an opportunity to read an article about the quality that leaders have. And when I know that when I read that article, the first person I thought of was Commissioner Loretta Spilberg. I can't remember all the qualities that were set forth in that article, but some of them were that they are people who have strong personalities, if you will. Oh, let's not laugh. That's a good thing. Not afraid to speak their minds about things, but also have the energy and work ethic to carry them into effect. My problem is going to be that whenever I see her, it's going to be hard for me to think of her as commissioner as I think of her as Officer Loretta. Because during the time that she was on the police force, she was responsible for administering the DARE program in the Newcastle City Schools, during which time my kids were also lieutenants there. And so I saw firsthand what she did to help the children of our community, especially in the city of Newcastle, understand the dangers of drug abuse and other issues relating to juveniles. And I think what's exciting about her election is that I know that she had a strong interest and background in matters relating to juvenile dependency and drug abuse in particular. You know, I have a drug court program, so I'm heavily invested in dealing with opioid addiction and whatnot. And people always ask me, well, what's the cure? I mean, how do we fix this? And really, there's no cure for addiction, but the challenge is to make young people understand before they become addicted what those dangers are. That's where the real change is going to come if we can do a better job. And so I'm excited that she has that interest because from a court's perspective, what we do and what Judge Acker does with respect to CYS dependency cases and juvenile cases is going to be critical. And we look forward to her interest in those areas in the court system. So with that, we'll ask you to come forward and be sworn.
Mia will. Give it to Mia.
I, Loretta Spilberg,
I, Loretta Spielvogel,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and
the
defend
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the
of
duties
my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity. Is it everybody's issue for me to cry today? Is that what everybody's trying to do? Because they know I'm so cold-hearted? Oh my goodness, it is an awesome view from this angle, I have to tell you. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you to the newly elected officials, to those that have been around for different years of service, serving the communities that are here in Lawrence County. Thank you to the judicial bench that I look at, and from that view, that looks very good, also from when I'm sitting, so I thank you all very much. 1,694 days. If you know me, you know what that means. That's the number of days that I've spent on this journey to get here today. traveling the county, meeting the people, hearing their concerns. It was a wonderful, wonderful journey. Some days were more exhausting than others. Every one of them was pleasurable because you got to meet different people. You got to see things that, one of the things for me was, as a city girl, you don't always make it out to the agricultural areas of our county. So that, to me, was a great education. And I'm so glad that I took the journey and took the time that I did to do that. I first have to say thank you to God for blessing me with such a wonderful, wonderful life. It is just like the movie. It is a wonderful life. I am truly, truly blessed. I am blessed with my family. I had to have them all come up here because did I have more than Richard? Rick Russo, where are you at? Stay where you're at. and I say that jokingly, but I have to say, I don't even have this written in, but I would be remiss if I did not say this, that I know for myself, I've worked within the courthouse walls as a police officer and then as working with juvenile probation and the agencies that I work with. But on the professional level where I'm at now, just the welcome that we have received, I know Morgan will probably attest to the same. Dan Vogler, just a wonderful, wonderful inspiration and gentleman and guiding us. And when you travel outside the county to different places, you realize that we do have a level of camaraderie and mutual respect that with the other elected officials as well as the judiciary. And that means a whole lot going forward to what we have to do, to the work that we have to do. My family is just the best that there is, encouraging me. Anything that I've asked them to do, they're just saying, okay, we'll do that. Okay, that's fine. They're just always there. They truly, and Richard had the same sentiments, they're the wind beneath my wings because there's not ever a time that I couldn't go to them for any reason whatsoever and not have something done that I've asked to have done. So I will cry. There's just only one person that's not here. But I know he's looking down on us, and that's my father. And he was also one of the rocks for us. My mom is still here, and she's the glue that holds us together. And I'm glad that she's feeling well enough to be here. She was a little under the weather through New Year's, and I'm glad you're here. And I love you. I'm also blessed with friends. Jody, where are you, Jody? We talk about our friends that we've had, our childhood friends. And I see some in the audience as well, our Mahoneytown friends that we have. We've grown up together, we've been there for each other. I have a group of friends, of girlfriends that have had my back for anything that I've ever needed or wanted, and I could call them at the last minute, and I did that during the election. I would call them and tell them, oh, by the way, the spaghetti dinner I'm having, what date is open for you guys? Because I never scheduled something unless I knew they were going to be able there to help out or do something. The new friends that I have made along the way, it just amazing people reside in our community. And I look forward to getting to know a lot of people a lot better. Whether you sign my petition, put a sign in your yard for me, you work the polls, served pasta and meatballs at a spaghetti dinner, or opened your doors to me for a meet and greet, I thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. To the voters of Lawrence County, I thank you for choosing me to serve you, because that is our job. We serve you. I look forward to working with Dan and Morgan both. I think we have hit the ground running, and we have again, the mutual respect and admiration for each other. We bring many different things to the table. I like to say Dan still carries a flip phone. My smartphone is smarter than I am, and Morgan is the idiot savant of the group. He I don't know when he sleeps. He remembers everything. just can compare, and he talks about metrics and comparisons and all these great things. It's like, yeah, I like that about him. So I look forward to working with the two of you. I know we have a journey ahead of us, but I think it's going to be a good journey, and I do look forward to that. Today I close the door on the 1,694 days behind me, and I look to day one today of my next journey as your Lawrence County Commissioner. Thank you all so much.
Commissioner Morgan Boyd is 21 years old. And as far as we can tell, he's, Commissioner Bogan and I have talked about this, we truly believe he is the youngest person to ever be elected to this office in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. At least we can find none younger. But if that's all you said about him, that would be very misleading. Commissioner Boyd has been a council person in New Wilmington Borough for the last 2 years. He was chairman of the New Wilmington Sanitation Authority, has served in other committees. He has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Allegheny College, which I understand he earned in 2 years. He's earning credits towards his master's degree at Carnegie Mellon University. And he's attended classes at Westminster College and Harvard University. I've had a chance to sit down and talk with him. I can tell you from my estimation, this is one smart individual who comes here with no other interest than to do the best job he can in the most fair and impartial manner he can. So we welcome you to come forward and take your oath.
I, Morgan Boyd,
I, Morgan Boyd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey,
that I will support, obey,
and defend
the
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity. All right, I will do my best to keep this short and pithy. But I remember on January 18th this year, I drove down to Elwood City. This is a couple days after I'd announced my candidacy. And I pulled onto Crescent Avenue, and I walked down the street, and I walked up that first sidewalk, hardest walk I've ever made in my life, and knocked on an individual's door. And that individual answered the door. We had a good 5-minute conversation. She shared her thoughts, her passions, her aspirations for the county. And then I left and went to 20 more doors that day. Probably 15 people answered, and we had incredible conversations. And it's because of people like that, people who opened their doors to me, people who invited me into their house for coffee, people who offered me the chance to come meet their friend groups at Giant Eagle and at Perkins and at Dunkin' Donuts, people who promoted me on social media and who stood outside the polls on their birthday for 13 hours for me to give me the opportunity to stand here today. So to all of you, I say thank you. To the voters of Lawrence County, I can't tell you how humbled, how honored I am to be standing here, and to you as well. I thank you for giving me the opportunity. Now that being said, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we have significant challenges ahead of us, significant challenges. However, I am positive that with our elected leadership all across the county, in our different municipalities, with our business leaders, with our community activists, and with our everyday residents, with the incredible row officers that work here in the courthouse, with our judges, with my two new colleagues, Commissioner Vogler. You are well respected everywhere you go, inside and outside the county. Dan has not just years, but decades of experience at the helm. And Loretta, your passion and energy for transformative change are felt everywhere you go. I think it's a phenomenal team. I'm looking forward to serving with each one of them. And in addition, I'll note that it's on the responsibility of all of us to make this county a better place. It's not just on the elected officials, it's not just on the business leaders, it's on every single person in every single municipality and every single household to work to make the county the place that we want it to be. And so with that being said, again, I am truly honored to be standing here today as your next county commissioner. Thank you, and let's get to work.
Commissioner Dan Vogler has been elected to his 5th term, and that sets somewhat of a record in Lawrence County because he is the first commissioner to be elected to 5 consecutive terms. And I emphasize the word consecutive because Frank Ritchell did serve 5 terms, but they were non-consecutive. I became president judge just a few months after Commissioner Vogler was first elected. So for the last 15 years, I've had the pleasure of working closely with him in terms of what needs the court would have in terms of running our operation. And I can tell you that he has always been very, very sensitive to the needs of the court, while at the same time keeping a good eye on the taxpayers' money. We have developed a very warm, professional and personal relationship. We greatly respect each other, even though neither of us get everything we ask for, but nevertheless we do respect each other's opinions about things and greatly, I think, rely upon each other with those opinions. And on a personal level, it's been a pleasure to share a multitude of books with him. We both have a love of history, we share books. And he goes one step further, and he spends time and researches old newspaper articles and comes up with some great things that happen in Lawrence County history that are forgotten. And I'll just mention this. One of the most moving things he found was a newspaper article from 1917 when my father, an Italian immigrant, got drafted in World War I and thereby became a United States citizen by serving in the U.S. Army. And the article talked about throngs of people showing up at the railroad station to see these people off to war. And I didn't realize that. I knew my dad was in the Army, but I didn't know that he made a newspaper over it. So it's greatly appreciated that. But I also enjoy, we're both early risers. We're both some of the earlier people who arrive at the courthouse each morning, and on both mornings we are able to share a cup of coffee. Well, I drink coffee, he drinks Coke or Pepsi. But it's been a great thing to have known him and have shared a professional, personal relationship with him. And if you'll come forward and be sworn at this time.
I, Dan Vogler,
I, Dan Vogler,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth,
and I will discharge
and I will
the
discharge
duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity. Thank you so much. May it please the court. In your honor, I appreciate your very kind remarks. Thank you. Good morning. First of all, congratulations to all of the elected officials today, both new and returning. It's an honor to work with each and every one of you. The Bible that I used this morning is the one I've used each time I've been sworn in.
And it was a Bible that was given to my mother back in 1930. It's presented to Lois Martin by the Wampum Presbyterian Sunday School. And Judge Motto made reference to County Commissioner Frank Vittrell. Interestingly enough, and some of the folks who've been around a little bit longer would remember Frank, Frank and my mother went on to become high school classmates, and they graduated from Wampum High School in 1939. And I was honored to know Frank, didn't live too far from him, and he was good to me. Frank taught me a lot. He was one of my mentors. And as the judge mentioned, we now share something in common in that I'm starting now my 5th term, which is the exact number of terms that Mr. Vittrell was able to serve. So I think a lot about Frank today. I think about one other mentor as well, and that's another dear friend who's not with us, and that's former State Senator Tom Andrews, who was also a good friend and a mentor. I'm so happy about my 2 new colleagues. They're so excited. I can't describe to you how excited they are. It's well deserved. They both worked very hard to get where they are today. And I did a little research. A couple of things that are, I think, quite curious. Morgan, interestingly enough, you are not the first person with the last name of Boyd to be a commissioner in Lawrence County. And I have a clipping here for you from 1927. A gentleman by the name of Calvin Boyd, who was from Pulaski Township, and he indicated, he said he had been engaged in blacksmithing for 30 years. He was also a justice of the peace. And he was elected, and he served 1 term as county commissioner. And I'll give this to you. He also wore glasses like you did. So I'll have this for you. So now Morgan is the 2nd Commissioner Boyd in the county's history. And along those lines, and it has yet to be noted today, I'm a little bit surprised it hasn't been noted, that Commissioner Spielvogel is the 2nd woman in the county's history to hold the office of Lawrence County Commissioner. As many of you know, Elizabeth Verderano served 1 term in that capacity from 1988 to 1992. So you're the 2nd female. There have been a few women hold positions, elected positions in the county history, but not that many. And I hope as we move forward, there will be many more to come. But the 2 pioneers in our history were actually in the 1920s, shortly after women gained the right to vote. The first was a woman by the name of Jeanette Hutton, and she was originally appointed in 1924 as the registered recorder, but she went on to be elected twice in that capacity. Also in the 1920s, Ada Smiley served 1 term as county treasurer from 1928 to 1932. They were the 2 pioneers as far as female office holders in this county. And then we had a long gap where there were no females holding office. Finally, things started to change in the 70s. We had a jury commissioner, Ann Doherty. We had a couple of district judges, Ruth French and Betty Lou Cradle. Some of you might remember them. And then, of course, we've had some row officers here at the county level. Our good friend Jan Kalajana, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, she's a little bit under the weather, but she has been the register and recorder since 1982. And also Helen Morgan, who served for many years as county prothonotary. And of course, today Jody has been serving in that capacity, but has been elected to a full term. We had Mary Ann Ryder serve as county controller for a number of years. And then a couple of jury commissioners, as I mentioned, Ann Doherty, and also Helen Jackson and Amy Shea. So you're part of a list of these folks, and I'll give you their names. Some of them I'm sure you remember. And but you are making history today. And as is Morgan in terms of being, and we have talked to folks in Harrisburg, and as best we can tell, you're the youngest elected official as a county commissioner in the state's history, and we congratulate both of you. In closing, I'd like to end with this note. Again, in my research, I came across an ad from the 1950s that had been taken out by a gentleman who served as county commissioner, Joseph Gilmore. And he wrote in this ad, what he wrote in this ad basically summarizes how I feel today. So allow me to read this brief quote from Commissioner Gilmore. Quote, "In all humility, I say thank you. And the only tangible way that I can express my gratitude is to continue doing my job as honestly and as vigorously as I can. Thank you all so much."
I do want to recognize City Councilman Tom Dean is in the audience too, so thank you for being here. Rick Russo was elected as magisterial district judge for the district that predominantly includes Neshannock and Shenango townships. He comes with a strong background in law enforcement, which is going to serve him very well. I've noticed over the years with district judges who come in with a background in police work, generally do very, very well. And I'm sure he is going to do very, very well also. I've had a chance to sit down and talk with him. I know he comes to this office with a lot of energy and a strong work ethic and is very anxious to get to work to serve the people of Lawrence County. And also, he joins Judge Cox and I as being the third judge to be elected who grew up in Croton. So, Judge Russo, would you come forward and speak?
I, Rick A. Russo,
I, Rick A. Russo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the Commonwealth,
of the Commonwealth,
and I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties
of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
I'm going to keep this very short. First of all, you got to understand, I served for decades with Loretta Spillvogel, and if you work with her, you don't get a word in edgewise. So I'm like, I don't say much. But I do want to thank the voters of my district for allowing me to continue to serve. Service is very important to me. I've been serving my entire adult life, and I am so proud and honored to continue to serve in this new capacity. I want to thank my family for being there through this hard, long year of campaigning. We were all out of our comfort zone with this election, but we did what we needed to do and worked hard at it. I've been blessed. I've always said I've been blessed with a great family, from grandparents to grandchildren, and I thank God for them every day. I congratulate everyone else who's being sworn in today, now and later on today. I'll be happy to serve with all of you. And may we all serve well. May we all serve the people of Lawrence County more so than ourselves, not ourselves at all, to the people. And we shall do so as I will, with integrity and diligently. Thank you.
District Judge Melissa Modi has been elected to her 4th term. Terms of office for district judges are 6 years, so she served 3 full terms, makes 18, plus I think perhaps 2 years when she was appointed by the governor to fill a vacancy on the court. I can tell you that she has served with great distinction. She is competent, she is ethical, she is hardworking. Her district includes the city of Newcastle for the most part, so I can tell you that's not easy duty. But she has just served so well. She's been a pleasure to serve with. We have a great system of district court judges, and I consider her to be the backbone of that system. So it is with great admiration and pleasure that I ask Judge Modi to come forward and be sworn.
I, Melissa Modi,
I, Melissa Amodi,
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
obey, and defend
the
the Constitution
Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the Commonwealth,
of the Commonwealth,
and I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office with fidelity.
I started when I was 19, right? So don't do the math. I'll be brief. I think you saved the best for last. I am honored, I am grateful, I am humbled to serve the citizens of Newcastle and Lawrence County for the last, it's been about 20 years, going on 21 years. Every day, I love my job, I learn something new. I go home every day, I feel blessed. I deal with a very difficult population. So I am blessed every day to have the family I had. Thank you, Mom, for all the beatings you gave me. That's probably not the best thing to say. My aunts had wooden spoons. But no, I am blessed every day to go home and have, I'm able to have a wonderful house, a wonderful life, wonderful friends, and a wonderful family. My advice, congratulations to all the newly elected officials, and do the right thing every day. Thank you.
Well, I did the math. That's 10 people we sworn in, so I don't think I forgot anybody. So at this point, I'm going to turn the mic over to Judge Cox, who I think has a few words.
I reserve my remarks because, as everyone knows, the judge has to have the last word. I'd just like to extend my congratulations to all the newly elected or the re-elected officials. It's an exciting day for everyone, but as Dave Gettings pointed out, we just took a very solemn oath to do the job and everything. So that means this week after the swearing in, we'll be starting work and doing our jobs. So probably by the end of the week, we'll all say to ourselves, boy, I seem so popular Monday morning, what happened? But again, I want to congratulate Mr. Rapone, Mr. Gettings, Mr. Johnson. The fact that you three ran unopposed is just a reflection on how you run your offices and the individuals that you are. I don't know if I've ever seen a greater anticipation for the Board of Commissioners. The county's excited for the three of you to represent us. And I think it's going to be such a diverse board with an excellent blend of both experience, civility, and also fresh ideas. And it's about time youth and a woman were elected again. So, we welcome re-elected Judge Modi and Judge Russo to the Magisterial District Judge bench. We have an incredibly strong Magisterial District Judge bench. It runs very smoothly, and I know the two of you are going to continue to enhance the judiciary. And as Judge Motto pointed out, there's 3 judges now from Croton, and my first job with a paycheck goes back many years where Judge Russo's father and mother hired me to work at Russo's Pharmacy on Croton Avenue. And you weren't an employee really when you worked for them, you're a part of their family, so I'll never forget that. And it was a thrill to be sworn in by Jody today. Actually, her and I started the same year at the courthouse. I was a young assistant district attorney. She was the youngest person in the pathology's office. And back then, we tried a lot of cases. So that means I was trying the cases, and Jody would have to come up for the verdicts and everything. So when we'd stay late in the night for a verdict, Jody was here and I was here. And I was always impressed with her work ethic and her knowledge of the office. So it was just a pleasure for her to swear me in today. It's an honor to be retained again to serve as a judge in this Court of Common Pleas. It's a job I love, and the reason I love it so much too is contributed by the fact I sit with these gentlemen up here on the bench. As we go to conferences and talk to other judges throughout the Commonwealth, and sometimes there's animosity between judges. Some judges somewhere have egos. That's not present in this county, of course. But these are not my colleagues, these are my friends. And just to work with them is an honor, it's a pleasure. And I will continue my pledge from before, that I will work hard to serve the people, that I'll apply the law to the best of my ability, and anyone who walks my courtroom door, I assure them that they'll have a fair hearing. There's certain people I have to thank. No courtroom can run well without an excellent staff. My staff always exceeds my expectations. I need to thank Brenda, Dan, and Diana. And also when my law clerk left in June to take a job with the Public Utilities Commission in Harrisburg, I didn't find anyone who was a right fit. So President Judge Motto and Judge Hodge graciously offered their law clerks to do double duty at no extra pay. And they've been helping me, so Attorney Jim Fee and Attorney Sean Merritt have done wonderful work for me. Lastly, it's a great job. I love it. But some days are a little more difficult than others. So when you go home, my wife is always there to support me. And I thank her so much for all that she's done for me and supported me over the years. So that, thank you very much.
You know, I did speak of Judge Cox's work ethic, and I want everybody to know that before he came over here to take his oath, he was here in PFA cases in this courtroom. He didn't have to be, so just another example. I don't know if anyone else would like to make any comment.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate my colleague and friend, Judge Cox here on his retention. As he indicated, it's such a pleasure to come to work when you work with your friends. Judge Cox and I have known each other for quite a while. I'll just leave it at that. Judge Motto and I go back to law school, and then I had the pleasure of becoming friends with Judge Acker and Judge Pacone. So we look forward to a continuing good relationship. I want to congratulate Missy for her re-election. She always does a good job. And Rick Russo, I hadn't seen Rick for quite a while, but I think back to my days when we were sort of on opposite sides. He was a police officer, and I was a criminal defense attorney, but he always treated everybody with respect, including my clients, which, you know, sometimes they were deserving of more respect than others, but that was the case, and I always appreciated that. Dan Vogler, I had the opportunity, I've known Dan since he was, we were both much younger, and I had the pleasure and privilege of working with him as county solicitor for a number of years. I also appreciated the comment that he made here in his closing about former County Commissioner Joseph Gilmore, who happened to be my father's uncle. And when I was in high school and after Mr. Gilmore, Uncle Joe was out of office, I would sometimes ride with him. He would haul hay to the Amish, and if I wasn't working for my Uncle Wes at the dairy farm, Uncle Joe sometimes needed help. And I recall my first inkling about government and everything was in the passenger side of the cattle truck as we were hauling hay and everything. And Uncle Joe was an interesting character, as I believe Attorney Seltzer would, he'd go along with me in that regard there. And Morgan Boyd, I first met Morgan last spring. It was an evening, and it was somewhat unusual. I was in the backyard. I was on my hands and knees with a big screwdriver cleaning out the clumps of grass. My wife was using the push mower. It got to the point where it wouldn't run because things were sort of wet. And so here it was, I was on my hands and knees with a screwdriver. I look out, and who's coming up my driveway? This guy I really didn't know and everything. It turned out to be Morgan Boyd. And we had quite a conversation in the backyard and everything with Morgan and Sharon and everything. And Loretta Spillhogan, I've known Loretta since juvenile court, I believe. Again, I would be representing sometimes the juveniles and everything. We always had a very good relationship in that regard. And Rich has done a great job as county treasurer because I was the solicitor when we didn't have such a good relationship with the former county treasurer. And as I've indicated before, Dave and I have been longtime friends and colleagues and everything. I appreciate his professionalism. As does RJ, I think he'll do a fine job. I appreciate your professionalism as well. So I'd like to, if I've missed anybody, I apologize, but I think we all look forward here to a good relationship. Everybody works together. We don't seem to have anybody giving anybody a bad time. We always try to resolve things and work things appropriately. So thank you very much.
Many people look on events like today as just ceremonies, but actually they're a true affirmation of what democracy is, especially at a local level, like a county level or a city level. Someone can go out with a good idea, knock on doors, meet people in restaurants, meet people in the grocery store, and actually become elected if people trust them enough. One piece of advice I give to everybody here, all the elected officials especially, people don't walk much anymore, but if you walk to this courthouse, as you turn to come up Courthouse Hill, there's a monument to those servicemen and women who gave their lives to this country. Take a look at it, remember it every day, take a picture if you need to, but the words on it, and I'll paraphrase, are that may their sacrifices be matched by our efforts in the public good. So please keep that in mind every day as you turn up Courthouse Hill. Take a look at that and follow those words. Thank you.
And I do want to add my personal congratulations to all of you and to all of you that sit here. There was a theme that carried through everyone. I think Commissioner Boyd maybe somewhat verbalized it, and that is this is about all of us going forward. The elected officials who are on the front line, but it was also stated about the staffs. And having been here myself many times, looking out and seeing old friends, and also knowing how we are made to look good. And I'll use that term because of those who support. So it's not just as was carried through. It's not just about what the elected officials do. It's what all of us can do here. Let's go forward out of this room today. We are exuberant. We are hopeful. We are anticipatory of many, many good things to happen in this decade coming forward. Let's go forward with God's love, and each of us commit to help our elected officials do things that are good for Lawrence County as we can. So good luck to all of you, and as Missy said, do the right thing. That's how it comes down. Simple phrasing. God bless you all. Good New Year and day.
Well, a lot of words have been spoken today. I suppose the two words that stick out in my mind are excited anticipation. I think that's what we all feel. That I think we can see that we are at a new milestone in county and city government going forward. So it's very exciting. We look forward to it with a lot of anticipation. This concludes our ceremony. I've been asked to make a couple announcements. There is a reception that will be held immediately following on the first floor of the courthouse. And also all elected officials are asked to hang around for some picture taking. So with that, congratulations. Look forward to working with you, and we will now declare recess.
And that concludes the swearing in as our ceremony is over. Thanks for watching NCTV45.